Good morning. I've had a few people ask me to make a video about these cool tubs I made out here. Just a small area, it's a little 8x8 area that I've enclosed in. I got the enclosure for free, but it covered on the top too, so I'm keeping all the mammals out and the birds out, and my dogs or whatever out of them causing keep from causing problems. But I did have one unexpected thing. I have leopard frogs showed up, and if I'm kind of pretty high up on top of a hill. I'm a long ways from a perennial water source. Seems kind of odd that it would have tons of frogs, but check it out. Check out the leopard frog. These are plains leopard frogs, and yeah, I've seen them in here. Oh, there went one. He took off. He saw the camera coming, but this area is really cool. Now, some of this is I didn't even really have time to set things up the way I wanted to. I was going to come back and do that, but I never did. So things kind of went crazy. Not where I really spot four different plants or whatever, but it is what it is. So if you can see here, I have some dry horsetail. And the horsetail was planted in here, and I have some right in the substrate at the bottom. That's kind of dying off. So it's kind of trying to grow. I guess if you see right there, a couple new little sprouts, and a couple closest to there's something new starting to grow. Now there comes the froggy back. I counted 9 frogs in here one night, and I threw some hornwort in here, and that's going great. And you got little things like the frog bit here. Get some more frog bit. These plants are growing out of the water. Those are swordtails. Those are a native swordtail, burrhead swordtails. There's 2 different species of burrhead, I think, if I remember right. I don't remember which one this one is. And then this plant, I don't know what this is for sure. I need to look it up. I'm sure I could figure it out pretty quick. But when I pulled up the swordtails, and there was like billions of swordtails. I mean, this was acres and acres, nothing but swordtails out there. So I didn't hurt anything taking them from the wild. But this hitchhiked along. There's only a couple, it's about this size whenever I got a couple of these. So I just stuck them in to see what would happen. And they seem to be growing really well. I like them. They're cool looking plants, whatever they are. And you get a couple leaf here that's kind of dying, but I don't care about that. What I find interesting is this. If you look back here, you see the sword plant here. It was so big. This thing is like 3 feet long, almost 3 feet long. But I wouldn't stay up. I just left it in there. I figured I'd take it out later and put it in a different container outside and let it grow. Well, I just left it sitting there so long that it started sprouting out this way. So this is a flower, and now it's turning into seeds. But it grew up and started doing its own thing, so I left it. I'll probably come back and just cut off these limbs, some of these leaves. These are dying away, not doing anything. But if you see the little black dots, those are very, very small tadpoles. And since I have leopard frogs filling this thing up, but I did have cricket frogs in here too. And I've had narrow-mouthed toads. So, man, these are so small that there might just be really, really small leopard frog eggs, most likely. Let's see if I can really zoom in. We'll find out here in a couple weeks when they get a little bigger, if they get bigger. Could be cricket frogs, could be leopard frogs. But I thought that was pretty cool. So anyhow, the way I made this is pretty simple. I just went in the yard, dug up a bunch of dirt, put about, 4 inches or so, 5 inches of dirt in the bottom of this. And this is one of the, I think this is like a 50-gallon Rubbermaid. Remember, yeah, it is Rubbermaid. Rubbermaid agricultural products, designed for like a water bowl or watering trough, something like that. But I think it's a 50-gallon. So then I filled it full of water, and I was going to come through. Actually, put dirt in there first. I was going to come through and put like a either pea gravel, sand, something on top to cap it down to keep it from getting up into the water column and looking all nasty. But it rained hard before I had a chance to do that. I got several inches of rain while I'm talking. And so what I noticed is it did not go away. I mean, it did not go nasty. You can call it. There's a platinum rice fish. So it did not get all nasty like I thought it would, and get all muddy and just look like, look like pudding or something in there. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna fill it full of water the way it is. So that's what I did. Filled it up, and it got muddy. I started up a little harder than the rain did, but it took a couple days, and it all settled down. It's crystal clear. If you notice, that water is pretty clear. I mean, you can see in there no problem at all. It's very cool. So I try to do some different things. This one back here is got dirt in the bottom, and then I put sand cap on top, and I've got some lilies that I bought some lily seeds. It looks like I got some kind of insect in there destroying my lily pads. I might have to go through there and see if I can figure out what's what's doing that, and see if I can eliminate them a little bit or just leave it alone. I think it's just kind of cool. I mean, I really originally just wanted fish in here, which you can see some platinum rice fish swimming around in this tank. And I'm a little worried about the frogs eating my fish, but they've been in here for quite a while, and I still seem to have quite a few fish in there. So I don't know if they're eating the fish or eating very few of them, but I don't really think it's an issue. This one, obviously, I haven't had a chance to do anything. Dirt in the bottom. I was going to put some pea gravel on top of this one, but just had never got around to it. But I need to do that soon, or I can just fill it full of water and see if it'll do what this one did. That one took off, so I might do that. Might just see what happens, you know. So I didn't want fish in here, and I didn't want anything to eat the fish, but the frogs showed up, and I thought, you know what, this is kind of a nature thing. I'm just going to let nature do what it does. So if you see in here, I got some frog bit over here. This is all frog bit, and underneath's got a little bit of, I can't really tell underneath, I don't think. Let's see if I can zoom in. But this is nothing but a little bit of hornwort. Yeah, there it goes. You can see the hornwort underneath the water. So that's cool. That's starting to grow really well. And this is really cool. These are lotus that I grew from seeds. I found a seed pod here locally. So this is kind of a native lotus. I'm not sure what species they call them, but this native, but they get huge. So I'm really anxious to see how well this turns out. So far, it's done really well. The planter it's in the bottom, that came from the Dollar Tree. So this is a real cheap planter. It cost me $1.25. Threw some dirt from the yard again in there. Got a spot that I can harvest from. And I threw some pea gravel on top and germinated my seeds inside, and then put them out here. Working well. I do have some cantalilli that I plan on putting in here also. And what did I have for the front that I was going to do? I forgot. What was that? Oh, pickerel weed I want to put in here too. So the bottom of this tub, there's nothing. It was just such a big tub that I just didn't want to put that much dirt and substrate and stuff in the bottom. So I'm going to put pots in here instead. There's something else I was going to do in here too. Now, I've got the umbrella plant that I haven't planted yet. So I plan on doing that soon too. And then over here, we got more of the frog bit, and we got some lilies that I planted. This I bought off somebody. They had them locally, so I just this one, I can't remember. I think this one has, how did I do this one? So it's been too long. I gotta look back at my notes. This one here has soil in it. Now this might be a mixture of soils that was from an aquarium. Somebody had an empty aquarium out, and I just dump all that soil in here. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. I just want to see how everything worked out. These two tubs get sunlight longer than day. So right now they're in the shade in the morning, but afternoon and early evening-ish, they get lots of sun. I think that's why they're doing so well. This one did have guppies in it. I think the frogs may have eaten my guppies, or the guppies got too hot. I don't know. Not sure what happened there. This does get pretty hot. Should have put the guppies in a different tank. No fish in this one. But I do have some lilies growing, just starting to grow. These are fairly new. I've only had this up for about a month or so. So the lilies are doing pretty good for just that short amount of time. If you can see the reflection on the roof, there's solar panels that I'm using to run an air pump that I was going to put air in some of these and see how the temperature changed. But I never got around to it, and everything seems to be doing really well without it. So I may not have air. I don't think I need it. You know, the temperatures out here have been, man, over 100 degrees quite a few times. Even 105, 107, and the water stays at the top is in like maybe 90s, the high as it gets, and at the bottom it gets in 3 or 4 degrees cooler. Last tub. Now this tub has, I think it was a mixture of substrates from a tank. Some came out of a tank and they gave me a bunch of substrate and I just dumped it in here. This one, it does have It's in the bottom, but it does have a Florida flagfish in it. And I've seen it recently. It's pretty cool. He likes the bottom. Yeah, it's hard to see. This one, I think, does not have any substrate. Yeah, it has some substrate in there, old stuff. So that's all I do. I mean, there's nothing really to it. You just throw substrate in the bottom and add water. I mean, it doesn't take much. Of course, I haven't done any work this morning on here. I'm going to clean up some of this grass that's growing through the tubs. But, you know, maybe not. It looks kind of cool that way. It's natural. I kind of like the natural look of this, where it's just kind of haphazard. It's not you know, scaped, and doesn't look like somebody human did it. It looks like it just kind of happened, which is really what I like. So I'm really enjoying this. Man, there's just hundreds and hundreds of tadpoles in that tub. I'm kind of curious what's going to come of it. That's pretty cool. Oh, and here too, I forgot to mention, I've got Vietnamese white clouds. They're going to be really hard to see. They're dark colored, and it's a dark colored bottom, so we're not going to see that probably on camera. There's a bunch of them down at the bottom, but I don't know if you can see that. I doubt if you can see that. Even if I zoom in, I bet you can't see them down there. I just saw a nice little group of them zip by. But I need some more cover in this tank. As you can see, there's not much cover, but that was not my goal. I just got so busy and didn't get a chance to do anything. So I do need to put some of the other plants in here. Got the canna lily bulbs. I just got to plant them in a planter and shove them in the back. And then I need to find some pickerel weed or pickerel rush, depending on what you want to call it. So there's all kind of invertebrates in here. You look in here, there's stuff swimming around like crazy, all kind of little insects, beetles, and you get some skimmers on the top. I mean, it's a pretty cool little ecosystem going. I think this is really cool. So I'm gonna do a little maintenance in here. You got to fill the tubs up. You can see they're a little low. It evaporates out pretty quick when it's so hot. So I like those rice fish. They just really show up well in these little tubs. This is pretty cool. A little bit of duckweed in that one, not much though. And you see the frog in the back. I think this is kind of cool. I'm enjoying this. I think you should set something up like this. I mean, you know, you don't need to set this elaborate up if you don't have lots of predators and dogs. I got a white lab that loves to jump into any kind of water container. When she was younger, she tried to swim in her own water dish. So if I had this exposed, she'd be in here tearing all this up. So I cannot let her in here. And of course, you know, stray cats and stuff coming around will be grabbing what they can. There's a frog just jumped. I mean, how cool is that? You got stuff breathing out there. Oh, there he goes. And I don't know how they found this place, my house. I'm so far up on this hill. But anyhow, I'm enjoying this. Build it and they will come, I guess. So I encourage you to do something like this. Find a little area and set something up. If you notice though, I do have the shade cloth up. If you're in Texas here, and you got to have some shade in the hottest part of the day, or the tubs will overheat. You know, they'll get over 100 degrees easily. But if you have a little bit of shade, like I've got it set up, it's fine. It works great, obviously. You know, we're getting past the hottest part of the year. It should start cooling down, and we should be good. The fish I have out here, except for the guppies, if they're still in there, can all handle the cold. So, oh wait, I forgot the endlers in here, and we have a problem later on this year. And once it gets colder, I gotta try to get those endlers out because they won't be able to handle the freeze, or you know, it gets really cold. But I got several months to worry about that. It won't be too cold for them for months. So there's a couple frogs back there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, there's a couple back there too. Like I said, I counted 9 one night. So this thing's loaded with frogs. It's pretty cool. All right, I'll talk to you later.